When we think about the law, we usually picture courtrooms, maybe stacks of heavy books. But in our digital age, the law has found a new home, the virtual world. Today, we're going to explore what that really means through the concept of virtual legal reality. This explainer is based on the foundational work of Professor Vihar Kiskinov.
So, here's our roadmap. We'll start by defining this new digital world for the law. Then, we'll look at the two sides of this reality, what we call the prescriptive and the conceptual parts. After that, we'll dive into what each part actually does before we wrap up with what all this means for the future of our legal systems. All right, so the first thing we really have to grasp is that the legal system isn't just tied to the physical world anymore. It's expanded, and it now operates in a virtual environment. This has created a whole new level of legal existence.
Professor Kiskinov gives this new environment a name, virtual legal reality, or VLR for short. Basically, it's all the digital stuff, the phenomena, the systems, the tools that allow our legal system to live and breathe online. You can almost think of it as the digital infrastructure for the law itself. Now, it's really important to understand that VLR isn't just one single thing. It's actually made up of two very different but connected components, and each one has a really critical job to do. On one hand, you have the prescriptive part. This is the practical side, the rules in action. It's created by actual legal regulation and contains all the active legal machinery. On the other hand, you have the conceptual part. Think of this as the intellectual blueprint, the world of ideas and models developed by legal science. Let's start by looking at the prescriptive part first.
This is the operational side of VLR, the part that gets things done. The prescriptive part is all about how laws and legal rules are actually put into practice, executed and enforced in the digital world.
So its core job is to be the environment where legal norms, the actual laws and rules that govern us, come to life. It's what turns the text of a law into a real digital action. And this happens at different levels of complexity. At the most basic level, it could be just an exchange of emails to form a contract. A step up from that, you have the creation of official electronic forms. And at the most complex level, you have technology that can replicate and automate entire legal procedures all on its own.
So how does the prescriptive part manage all of this? Well, it relies on several key functions. These are like the building blocks that construct, organize, and really give meaning to our digital legal world. Let's take a look at each one. First up is the constructive function. Before you can do anything online legally, you need the right infrastructure. This function is responsible for building that foundation. Things like electronic registers, secure databases, and all the places we store data. After that, you have the systemic and organizing function. This is just so important. It makes sure that all these digital legal tools aren't just created in a vacuum. Instead, they have to be designed to work together as one cohesive system. In the virtual world, nothing can really exist on its own. This systemic nature leads to a really profound idea called the ontological function. See, law has always been an abstract system of ideal rules. In the physical world, trying to implement it was always a bit messy, a bit imperfect. But as Professor Kiskinov puts it, VLR allows the ideal legal system to find its ideal mode of being, free from those physical world limitations. Just think about the difference. Before, a legal concept was trapped in someone's mind or on paper, and it could lose something in translation. But in virtual legal reality, these same ideas exist in a shared digital space where they're accessible to everyone and keep their precise formal meaning. And this new way of existing makes the most tangible function possible: access. This is the part of VLR that gives us a legally valid way to interact with government and business. Everything from looking up laws and public records to using e-government services, or even participating in online petitions. Okay, so we've looked at the practical, operational side of VLR. Let's now pivot to its other half, the conceptual part. You can think of this as the intellectual laboratory, where the future of the law is really being designed. Now, unlike the prescriptive part, which is created by formal laws and regulations, the conceptual part is created informally. It really grows out of the collective work of legal scholars, teachers, and thinkers. And this intellectual work has four critical functions. Together, these are the tools that allow for the deep analysis, the creative design, and the rigorous testing that will shape how our legal systems evolve. The first one is the projective function. This is exactly what it sounds like. It turns the conceptual part into a kind of digital drawing board. It's where we can design and model new legal structures and mechanisms long before they ever become actual law.
And that leads us to the cognitive function, which is a total game changer for legal knowledge. Traditionally, that knowledge was stuck in individual minds and had to be communicated indirectly. VLAR moves it into a shared ideal space, where we can get direct access to these interconnected models and work together on them.
And finally, there's the experimental function. This essentially provides a sandbox for legal science. It's a safe, virtual space where you can run thought experiments, test new legal mechanisms, find the flaws, and refine your models, all without any risk or consequence in the real world. So, we've explored the two faces of virtual legal reality, the practical engine of the prescriptive part and the intellectual laboratory of the conceptual part. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? What does this all mean for the future of law? The core conclusion is this. We are in the middle of a fundamental transformation. Law is changing from a static code you find in books to a dynamic, living operating system that functions in a virtual environment, one that executes and adapts in real time. Now, this new reality offers incredible efficiency and power, but it also forces us to ask some very profound questions. As we continue to build this virtual legal world, the most critical question we have to face is this. When law can be written in code, what does justice look like?